Don't look now, but the Walt Disney Company is promoting every single celebrity who's super anti-America. And frankly, we've had enough of it. Josh D'Amaro, CEO of the House of Mouse, what are you doing? You got to stop Dana Walden, who is lifting up the voices of Mark Ruffalo, Sonny Hostin, Rosie O'Donnell, and so many others. And now they're saying crazy things like they're afraid of the American flag. Sometimes you just got to take a stand, folks, and that's what we do every single day. Your support helps us do so. We thank you truly from the bottom of our hearts here at a studio in somewhere sunny USA. Folks, as we dive into the latest lunacy out of Disney, you smash that like button, and we will smash the mainstream, lamestream, going extinct dinosaur media who refuse to cover these such things. You know, the Walt Disney Company seriously needs to get their act together. ThatParkPlace.com reporting on this. Disney's Sonny Hostin off The View says she feels unsafe in neighborhoods with American flags. That's right, the American flag, who, by the way, the American flag, which I have had family members serve in wars. I've had family members be POWs to defend the flag and what it represents. It scares Disney employees, aka Sonny Hostin. And don't think for a minute that Sonny Hostin is not really actually Disney. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. The View co-host Sonny Hostin sparked backlash after claiming that seeing neighborhoods covered in American flags makes her feel unsafe, while also comparing a person wearing an American flag on their hat to wearing a hood. Hostin made the comments during a discussion about America's recent 250th anniversary celebration and the state of the country. The conversation turned to a viral image showing members of a group of masked men from the controversial organization Patriot Front, I'll say it that way to get around YouTube, riding the DC Metro while wearing American flag style insignias. And I'll just tell you, I don't believe for a minute that those are legit people. But hey, that's just me. All right, so here she is. Here's Sonny Hostin, Benny Johnson hosting this, and co-host of The View, Sonny Hostin. Before I play the clip, though, I just want to show you. I want to prove what I say, that Sonny Hostin is 100% Disney Company certified. Disney celebrated America's 250th with a 24-hour nonstop live event on the 4th. Who did they get to help with this? Well, if we go down to the list of people that were involved in it, what does it say? The View co-hosts, Disney legend Whoopi Goldberg, Sonny Hostin, and Sarah Haynes, along with more of the ABC News team and talent. The event takes viewers across all 50 states to explore the people, places, and defining moments of the nation's 250-year history. So when the Walt Disney Company decides they want to celebrate America, they go to Sonny Hostin, who is made to feel unsafe by American flags. They go to Sonny. Get them Sonny. Here's what Sonny had to say as soon as the 250th was underway.
And with an American flag on that cap, you might as well have a hood on. You might as well have a hood on, because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
But you say this is the best nation. The best nation for who?
Yeah, when you say it's the best nation.
When you say it's the best nation, the best nation for who? Because if we are celebrating
talking about this, I'm sorry.
These are also multi-millionaires.
Yeah, she a little rich and a little overweight to be talking about how terrible it is to be in America. I had to get that out. I'm sorry.
She likes M&Ms.
250 years. What are we exactly celebrating is what I want to know. And so I'm really glad that
those earrings
picture was taken, because that picture is how we feel walking into many rooms down the street. That picture is how we feel, and nobody.
Can I just say, the chances that this is a planned psyop is 1,000%. Now you say, how do you know, Pro? Okay. All of these people are masked, so you can't tell who they are. Why are they masked? Why are they not out? And this has been going on forever. And look at the dude with the mummy mask on. I mean, this is so stupid, right? You all know what people say about this group and who it's actually funded by, okay? But then look in the top right. Reuters. Cheney Orr is the photographer. Folks, how did they get all of these, every single one of them a white dude, every single one of them wearing giant masks? How did they get a teenage girl sitting by herself and a photographer just so happened, a professional Reuters photographer, just so happened to be there? See, this is the kind of stuff that you got to sit and think about for just a minute before you go, oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is all, this is rehearsed. And then they go to The View with Sonny Hostin.
They will believe us. So look at that picture and understand how it feels.
You never should be made to feel like that.
Yes.
It's wrong that this woman is.
And I said this on this show many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show, and I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be.
I think that's totally, absolutely crazy. Now, I don't want anybody to suffer from racism. I don't want anybody to be mean to anybody. I think personally that being mean to somebody based on the color of their skin or making any assumption about somebody based on the color of their skin is the lowest level form of thinking you can have. It is utter stupidity. It's Neanderthal level. But I think these people engage in it all the time, and then they pretend that they're on the side of defending people. And I think they actually create all kinds of fake hoaxes and nonstop nonsense to try to divide people. So anyway, and if the picture is real somehow, some way, if it's less than 1%, that that's legit, then, I feel terribly for anybody who's standing around those guys, because I think that masked individuals, top to bottom, are creepy, scary, and stupid. I have my thoughts about who's funding them to do that, and I don't think it's legit conservatives whatsoever. But anyway, I wanted to bring that up, that Disney is celebrating the America with a woman who says the American flag actually bothers her. Before I go to the panel for conversation, though, let me add to this. Because Mark Ruffalo, this is out of Variety, Mark Ruffalo has become Disney's dude. Pedro 2.0. Mark Ruffalo's in everything Disney's going to do. Mark Ruffalo, Sarah Jessica Parker, Margaret Atwood, Judd Apatow, and more give instructions to combat Trump's tyranny. On July the 4th, that's by Marlo Stern. There is Ruffalo. Now he says, be as courteous as you can be. And there's nothing wrong with that, eh? But this is part of a giant, of course, Variety's going to do the most positive thing they can. This is all part of a giant video they released on the 250th of America, basically condemning America with a lot of Hollywood celebrities and stars. We'll try to get to where this is the guy who's behind it. I forget his name. Here's Disney's dude, Mark Ruffalo, and what he says on the 4th of July.
All right, let's talk about the rules. Tim Snyder's rules.
Tim Snyder.
Lesson 1.
Do not obey in advance.
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 Now, they think you're so stupid, and their followers, that's who they believe they're talking to, of course, that they have to say it 4 times in a row, and the power of celebrity will drive it into you. And they go through all of these rules to fight against Trump's tyranny. Panel, this is who Disney is associated with. This is why Disney is going down. They promote these people. Culture, I'll go to you first on this one. No, actually, is it okay if I go to Caro? Caro, you've served, and I think you get the chance to weigh in on this first. Caro, I despise what Disney is doing, who they promote. These people are, I believe, truly, they are anti-everything America might stand for and everything America might do. They are regressive. They are anti-progress. They are anti-human. And their beliefs lead to things like Mamdani in New York, where you can't even control the thermostat in your own apartment anymore. Carol, your thoughts on who Disney puts in the lead, Sonny and Ruffalo, this time?
These are, man, sorry, I'm trying to, I know you've got rules for language, and I'm trying to.
It's hard for me on this segment too. I don't like it.
So my thing, okay, so going to the repeat thing that you have, that's actually a psychology trick that people do in order to influence the way that you're thinking. So that's why it's happening. And they do it with different voices because it triggers different parts of the brain. If you just hear the same voice, then it gets drowned out.
With the expectation, Carol, that their viewers are not smart enough like we are. We see that and we say, oh, that's a psychological trick. They don't believe their followers are smart, so that's why they do that.
Yes, so there's that. One thing I'm going to give, late Princess Princess Diana, is that she did a lot of volunteer work, right? Like she would go into other countries and she would help the people that were in need, and she would see how terrible things were, and then she would go through the effort to try and alleviate those things. I would really like these people that advocate against America to actually go and engage in some of that charity work as well, because I think that they have a very gross misunderstanding of what it's like to be in America compared to other places, and maybe that that experience will give them a new perspective, because rich people talking about how terrible it is to be in America seems kind of funny. I mean, you can go to China if you want and see how you like it there.
Rosie O'Donnell couldn't handle Ireland. And Kara, I know you've been all over the world. I've been all over the world. I'm not trying to be negative about the world, but every time I go anywhere, even to some of the nicest places, and I'll give an example, okay? When I was in Monaco's supposed to be super nice, right? When I left Monaco and I came back to the U.S. after about 2 weeks, I came back to the U.S. and I said, oh my gosh, how nice it is to be back in America. Not because I didn't have a good time, but people just take for granted how ridiculously rich America is. Like the poor people in America. Now you can force yourself to be even more poor than this, but poor people in America are still running around with cell phones that have all of human knowledge in their pocket. And unless they're in New York, they still have air conditioning and heating and comfortable beds. And I'm not saying, like, I know there are people working 2 jobs and struggling to get by, but I'm telling you, go to another place, go check it out, and you'll come back and say, I can't believe, you know, how nice we have it, and we just don't see it because this is where we are.
Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely have it pretty smooth here. I mean, I lived in Europe. I've been in Japan. I've traveled a lot.
Okay, I do like Japan.
Yeah, well, Japan's very efficient, but they've also got like their own like poverty issue that they're kind of ignoring. And it's only going to get worse, especially
tiny living spaces.
Well, it's tiny living spaces. They actually, like, when I'm talking about like their homeless population, they're just pretending like it doesn't exist. It's really bad. But like, for example, when I lived in England, you know, I was there as a dependent at the time for 7 years. We were given certain areas that we weren't allowed to go to because they were anti-American. And if they heard their accent, we would not come home. Right. Like, it's like they had those communities. I won't say what demographic it was, but I think you can figure out which one it was. So we were never allowed to go to those areas. Right. If we went to one time, we went to France because my grandparents really wanted to go there. My dad and I could not leave Paris. We were not allowed to leave Paris. And the reason we couldn't leave Paris is because the surrounding area had a demographic that if they found.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the ring around Paris.
Yeah, no, if you left Paris.
So Paris, I've been to Paris and spent a significant amount of time there. The tourist areas are wonderful. But there are places in Paris, you know, and I'm not saying that American cities are devoid of this, but like, there are places in Paris that you don't go. And I felt very unsafe at times. You know, I, as a man on the metro, I mean, you would have le métro. You'd have people show up with a little guitar with one string and play that one string. And then they expect you to pay them money. And there's nobody that's going to come help you if you get in a fight with the homeless person who expects you to pay money because they came and plucked a string 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
or you got like some cultural things. Like, so for example, one tidbit about Paris is that, you know, if you need to get a taxi, or rather, I don't know if they have Uber over there, so it might be slightly outdated. But if you wave down a taxi and say, hey, I need to go here, they're like, I'm not going that way. And they just leave, right? Where in America, when you get a ride, that ride takes you where you need to go. So we take that for granted. We have great public transportation. We have amazing, I don't care what anybody says about the healthcare. I mean, I've been on the bad side of it, you know, due to like the whole cancer thing and whatnot, but we still have amazing care over here. We really do. Like one procedure that I had over in England that they didn't want to treat, I got treated in a day because they're like, oh no, you definitely need to get treated for that.
Right.
What was the other thing? Air conditioning. That's apparently a thing. I don't know why Europe is like so anti-air conditioned. It used to boggle me when I lived there as a teenager. They
propagandized their population because they ran away their energy production, so they can't handle air conditioning, and so they have to pretend that it's to save the world, right? And that's what they tell their population. And so I was watching a video. There's a young mom in England who she was talking about her child's bedroom, and we're talking about infants, was 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's too hot, yeah.
Too hot. And she was struggling because she's been propagandized her whole life. She was struggling with, my child needs air conditioning, but I'm being told not to get an air conditioner, and I know it's the wrong thing because we're trying to fight climate change, but my baby also can't sleep. And it's like, you know, that is real life logic running up against 24 years of solid programming of just idiocy, right? I mean, the oceans haven't moved a millimeter in 50 years.
Yeah, so. And one more thing I'll add, and then I'll get out of the way of culture.
We're going to let him rip into Sonny Hostin and Mark Ruffalo in just a minute.
I can't stand Sonny. I can't. But the one thing is like this misinformation about like how things are here in America. It's not just like something that happens overseas. It happens here in America too. So when Eric was asked me to relocate from Florida to Texas.
And real quick, Eric July, the guy who's behind Rippaverse.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just clarifying.
Yeah. Rippaverse Publishing. So when he had me relocate to be closer to the site, I was like, of course I'm going to do that. I told one of my friends I was going to move to Texas, and he was like, I'm so sorry for you. And I was like, why? I was like, why? It's like, women are treated terribly in Texas.
Where were you moving from, Caro?
Florida. I moved from Florida to Texas. And this guy
You had a friend in Florida who was confused about Texas?
No, he was from North Carolina, right? He was from North Carolina, and I had told him I was moving to Texas.
Okay.
And he was like, no, they're treated terribly. They don't have any rights and blah, blah, blah. And so like my first week living in Texas was me showing how nice everybody was. Like a guy opened the door for me.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like gave me advice. I got lost and somebody helped me. And, at one point I was like, I don't understand. Like I've actually gained weight though. So that's like the one downside of moving to Texas.
Yeah, God dang it. We apologize for Buc-ee's. We didn't mean to do that to you.
The food is delicious. I can't stop eating it. That's why I'm now walking as much as I am. It's really rough.
The bad thing we can say about Texas is it's too darn windy.
Yeah. But I mean, so the misinformation isn't just like outside, it's inside too. And it's all due to this propaganda that comes out from NPR and The View and all that. The whole, like, I don't feel safe around American flags. You should feel the safest in a neighborhood that's got American flags everywhere. You absolutely should.
Culture, we experienced culture shock one time when we had a guy visit one of the red states, and he was coming from a very blue region, and he couldn't believe, everything he'd heard about red states was, it's just a nightmare place, just, Jesus land of poverty. And he was like, how are the houses this big? How is this and I think that the perception is incorrect, but I think it's made possible by purveyors of nonsense and psyops like Mark Ruffalo and Sonny Hostin, and all of them promoted by Disney.
Yeah, and I think this is where I continue to have my opinion validated. The fact that I do believe Disney is an anti-American company. I think that they continue to push the same narrative, no matter what network they're on, no matter if they're a news program like The View is supposed to be, or if they are telling us sports news. I think we're constantly assaulted by a misinformation or outright lies and propaganda. And Disney is the biggest purveyor of that right now. And, there's a story floating around about the fact that the Ellisons actually have in their possession, materials that show just how, much the news is not trusted, how wokeified media and television have been. And they're going to, counter all of that in, the things that they own and control. I'm looking forward to those days. But at the same time, I think that Disney is one of the direct parties responsible for the lack of trust in news media. I think that we've been lied to for so very long, and Disney itself has been caught up in lies so often that they've had to make apology or settle, defamation cases, et cetera, to the detriment of their shareholders.
But isn't this hurting culture, this anti-American, I think it's got to the normies now. Yeah. Isn't this hurting them when we see that July is the least crowded month at Disney World since the shutdowns with the pandemic? And we're watching, Toy Story 5 was supposed to be the big thing. It's going to struggle to hit $1 billion. Their box office numbers are suffering. People think they're doing well, and you actually look behind the hood and you say, well, actually, these are losses. Culture, I think Disney is in trouble promoting people like Sonny. And I think that Dana Walden, if folks don't know that name, Dana Walden is the woman behind this. She's Kamala Harris's best friend. She's the second in command at Disney. She was put there to placate Hollywood. And I think Wall Street has lost control of her. I think she's gone, if not rogue, I think she's doing exactly what she wants to push politics and partisanship inside Disney.
I'll go a step further and say she went full Obama at Disney. And I think that that's really bad for this country. We never had more divisiveness than that we did with that 8 years. And you don't need more divisiveness inside of Disney, which they already created themselves. There are many examples of Disney doing the wrong thing whenever possible. And that's honestly hurt Disney across the board, not just in theme parks, but everywhere. So again, you can continue to shunt the losses from your film and television products over to the theme park division via the streaming service that you have that doesn't make any profit. So
Culture, what are your thoughts on this photo? I put myself on the line saying this.
I agree.
I don't see how this photo is organic, and this is what Disney is putting out there with The View. I don't understand how this photo can be organic because I don't see how a Reuters photographer can be positioned here, and the entire train has no other passenger at all, and the Reuters photographer is standing in the exact position to be able to put her in the middle of the frame of the photo. Second row, so you have the foreground, so that she gets the exact look of being surrounded. Like, I don't know how this can happen unless it's synthetic.
Paying attention to her either. Like, look, that nobody's looking at her. Like, nobody on this train cares about this girl in the chair. Like,
no, and that's why, like you said, this is inorganic. I would call it an op, and I think I'd be right. And there are very few instances where these people are unmasked when they've been arrested, and we get to see screenshots. And I had to actually solicit Grok for the better part of 5 minutes to get down to brass tacks to get those access to any mugshot image.
Without saying who they are. When we look, when they are unmasked, does it turn out that they're not who the media tells us they are?
I would say that, the pictures, the images that Grok is willing to show me, are people that would fall, within the framework that they want them to, but at the same time would also fit into the anti-FA folks, possibly, outside of, having, fancy hair coloring and stuff like that. Right. But and again, I mean, the more the more this goes on, and the more somebody tries to drill down on it, the more I think we'll eventually get to the truth, and we'll find out that they aren't self-funded as they've been described as, but there's somebody that's providing centralized funding for them and their leadership, and if that turned out to be an intelligence op, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying
Culture has talked about figuring out the truth. That's something that we believe in. But Sonny, Mark, and the rest of Disney, I don't think they believe in the truth, and especially not with capital T. Well, you've made it to the end of the video, and that means you are a true pal of Pro. Thank you so much for watching the entire thing, ladies and gentlemen. And we ask that you consider clicking that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And remember, folks, we've got more content yet on the way. The drive-bys can't handle what we have to say. But we never stop, not for a minute, because we want to win it for you. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.